Welcome back. My interview with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is now subject to a brief interruption because of this important video of a sneezing panda. All right, so the mom panda is in the corner, baby panda chilling right in front of her, and then baby has to sneeze. Mom's got, and mom reacts. Here's a little loop just of the mom reacting to the sneeze. You have seen this before. I know you've seen this before because statistically speaking, we all have. It has been viewed over 200 million times. Madam Secretary, one of the things that you deal with in a surprisingly straightforward way in your new book is that people are obsessed with your human nature.
Yes.
Everything from a sort of deep thing that you point out, which is that people needed to be told again and again, why truly do you want to be president? When nobody ever asked Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz that question in exactly that same way. But also, you know, the really human stuff. In the book, you called it the panda principle, which is why we were visited there by the sneezing panda. This is what you write in the opening of chapter 5 in the book. What I ate, who did my hair and makeup, what my mornings were like. It may seem strange, but I get asked about these things constantly. Philippe Reins, who played Trump in our debate prep sessions, has my favorite explanation why. He calls it the panda principle. Pandas just live their lives. They eat bamboo. They play with their kids. But for some reason, people love watching pandas, hoping for something, anything to happen. So you're sort of marveling at people having that interest in you, but then you also basically concede that you have now learned that that's what people want to know. And chapter 5 of the book is literally, here's what time I get up. Yes, I hit the snooze button. Here's what I eat for breakfast. Here's where I exercise. Yes, I love my husband. Here's some mystery novels I like. Yes, I like hot sauce. I mean, do you wish people didn't want to know you in that way? And do you understand why they do?
Well, you know, I've stopped asking both questions because I've concluded that it's just a part of our lives now. And I think I was slow to accept that. And I believe that I'm pretty straightforward and, you know, pretty ordinary in most of my human existence. And so I think, though, that people were a little bit intrigued, maybe even obsessed, because of when I burst into the public awareness. You know, Bill was the first baby boomer president. I was the first professional wife, first lady. And, you know, there was just this insatiable curiosity. And I have said many times before, I became like a national Rorschach test, right? You see what you want to see in you. But I wanted in this book, because it is true, people ask me these questions all the time, and I thought, well, you know what, I just want to embrace it and go ahead and tell you what I have for breakfast and all the rest of it. And maybe it will give people a little bit of satisfaction that they know me better than they thought they did.
Do you feel like it's that sort of interest and that sort of, almost that sort of no-win situation about your privacy? Is something that is inherent, that any woman who runs for president is going to face? Is it inherently gender dynamic going forward? Did you face it more than anybody else will because you were the one trying to break the glass ceiling twice?
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that just being a woman at that high level of politics is still so unusual, and people are sorting it out. I have some fascinating statistics in there about how there's a big difference between Democrats and Republicans in terms of wanting to see a woman be president. Lots of good research that I put into the book about how difficult it is because as a man gets more professionally successful, he becomes more likable. As a woman gets more professionally successful, she becomes less likable. I really wanted to pull the curtain back and talk about this because I hope through my experience and the fact that I am, trying to have this conversation with the American public, that people will begin to be more self-aware. Because also in that chapter I have on being a woman in politics, where I talk about endemic sexism and misogyny, I say, look, it's not just about me. You know, there's that thing, oh, I would have voted for another woman, but not this woman. Well, I ran for the Senate. I was elected twice. I know, you know, how people can get to know you and respect you and support you. But because we've never had a woman president, the barrier is so high, that glass ceiling is so hard. And now that some of the potential 2020 candidates are starting to get public attention, they're getting hit from both the left and the right. And sometimes when it comes from the left, you're not sure whether it's a Russian pretending to be an American on the left or not. So I want to raise the visibility of these issues so that, you know, if women run for president in 2020 or 2024, whenever it might happen, you know, more Americans will say, hey, you know, maybe I should actually listen to her and see what she has to say, rather than, oh, saying I don't like her hair or why is she wearing that color. You know, the kinds of things that get in the way of giving women candidates the sort of serious consideration that we deserve.
I hear your optimism about how that can get better.
I hope so.
By talking about it and naming it, you give people a way to at least discuss it and maybe combat it. I also feel like the sexism that you faced as a political barrier in 2016 was considerably worse than the sexism you faced as a barrier in 2008. And I know in 2016 you got further, but I feel like what I saw directed at you as a public figure was more vitriolic and frankly more rhetorically violent than what I saw 8 years earlier, which implies to me, I mean, maybe that's the general election versus the Democratic primary, but I like to think that things get better over time too, and I don't see that as having happened with you.
Well, but I think there were several different conditions that had to be dealt with for the first time. The internet was obviously up and going, but social media was not as unleashed in 2008 as it was in 2016. I ran against someone who demeaned women, degraded them, attacked them, and again, not just me, but you know, Miss Universe contestants and Republican women who dared to run against him and interviewers who questioned him. It was so rhetorically vile, what he said about so many women. And that kind of lifted the top off of what had been much more restraint. Because I did feel like in 2008, there was a lot of it. It was out there. But by the years that followed, I thought, okay, you know, people are coming to grips with the fact that that's, you know, you don't talk about women like that. You may think it, but you don't talk about it anymore. And you have to at least try to give, you know, lip service to women being treated equally. Trump threw all that out the window.
You think he changed the weather? You think he changed what was possible in
I think he
American
gave
politics?
permission for people to be much more sexist and misogynistic, which is much more generalized hatred of women. So, and even for me, I was taken aback by some of what he would say and the fact that people would vote for him, including women, after the Hollywood Access tape. It just had a different feel to it. So, yeah, I think he was, in large measure, the determinative factor that made it so much worse in 2016.
Will you sit still for one more break? And I will
Yes.
come back because I would like to ask you a James Comey question. And I have a feeling you have something to say.
I might.
Okay, all right, we'll be right back with Hillary Clinton right after this.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.